Please join us as we sing our national anthem and pledge the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's Jerry. Thanks.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for this beautiful day and for all the blessings that you bestow upon us. Father, we're blessed to be a member of this Rotary Club, because sometimes we maybe forget that by belonging here, we're doing one of your commands, and that is that we are to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And what we're doing is putting service before self here. Father, as we go through this week, the holiest of holy weeks, may we keep you ever present in our mind. Guide us and direct us in all that we do. In your name we pray. Amen.
Minister Terry Tuffin. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, President Rick. Hope everybody's having a great day. Anybody got any complaints with the weather? I mean, it's nothing like a Chamber of Commerce day we're having. If you have problems with this weather, it may be a mental situation, and I'm not doing any evaluations. Let's wish some happy birthdays. She doesn't look any older, but Morgan Eagle on April the 15th. I know she's here, so that's the reason I said it. Robert Ferguson, April the 17th. Anniversary celebrations going to Larry Williams Sharon on the 16th. Stephanie Crow and Kevin, April the 15th. And a pair on the 20th, Tim McCraney and Janet and Ben Slingle and Shane. Hope you all have a fantastic week. Thank you.
Mr. Ellis, introduction of guests.
Well, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to our guests today. We have a couple, and when I call your name, please stand and remain standing. We have Ms. Shelley Olive, a guest of Dr. Kirk Davis. Then we have Jessica Tolbert, guest of Sheila Azar. Help me welcome these guys.
Ms. Stephanie Canvas. Several points. Oh, 974. Last four is 0. 974. Yeah. Come on then. $3. Thank you, sir. Just a reminder, the Rotary Ball is May the 3rd. I'm sure we'll have some lineups in the next couple of weeks. And I'm not sure Is anybody here on the Rotary? All for it? I didn't know if there were any tables left. One or two tables left? Okay, great. Soup drive was going to end today, but I'm pretty sure I did everybody in the room, maybe not. So you got one more week to get the prize. And I know you say, what's the prize? Well, if I told you, then you might try to sneak something here the last minute. So it's good, I promise. We got a board meeting today, after the meeting, so just a reminder for a board meeting today. And got a special presentation. Can I call Jerry Atkinson up, please?
I'm not the recipient. The person that this award is going to today is a person that I met about 20 years ago. We said hello, shook hands. I'm so happy about the third word out of his mouth was, "Do you belong to a city club?" And I said, "Well, not yet." I said, I'm just moving back to Dothan. And he said, "Well, I'd like to invite you to come to the Rotary." I did, and I'm here. Thanks to him, Dr. Lester Stewart. And over those 20 years that Jane and Patricia and Lester and I have traveled the world. I mean, I don't care where we were. About the third word was, "Do you belong to Rotary?" Because he knew it was Rotary International. It wasn't just Dothan he was talking about. He would ask people if they belonged to Rotary. And where are you? And I mean, this might be in Russia. It might be in Bangladesh or wherever he was. He'd want to know if you were Rotarian. And where are you meeting? I mean, he'd get into all of it. I guess the point I'm making is, we hear the word disciple used a lot, and we know what that means from a church standpoint, but he is truly a disciple for Rotary. Not only does he talk about it, but he has put his words into action. I've had the pleasure of working alongside Lester Stewart and many of the campaigns that we've had here, the different functions that we've done with each chair. He's asked me to work with him and help him, and it's just been a joy. And it was for him just such a joy and a treat to see this club, the way it's grown and the things that it's done in this city. But it didn't just start when he joined Rotary. I think all of you in here would admit there's something in you that told you a long time ago that belonging to an organization, belonging to something that would put a drive in you to want to better yourself, better humankind. That was Lester. A lot of you don't know this, but when Lester was in 10th grade, he quit school. He just dropped out. Things were not going as well at home as he wanted it to. And he decided to go up to Atlanta and live with his sister and brother-in-law. And he worked around the Atlanta area, and finally, after that for a while, he decided that he'd join the Air Force. And as you've heard on a few occasions, he spent 27 months in the desert with the Air Force. And he talks about it like it was yesterday. He still remembers those times and the contribution that you feel like he made serving our country. But that wasn't enough. He came back home and he said, I need that education. And he goes back to that school over in West Alabama, where the kids who were in junior high school were now seniors, and he goes back to the 10th grade. But that didn't bother him, and he went on and completed, graduated with honors, and said, I gotta have more. And went on and got degrees from Troy, Auburn, Alabama. And if there'd been another one around somewhere at the time, he'd have got a degree from there too, I think. It wasn't because he was just wanting to hang these on his wall, but just that he wanted to know as much about how he could serve people through education. And that's what he did, Dr. Young. And I know that you were one of his students at one time. And many of you in here have been so too. He got to Dothan because the president of Troy said, you know, we need a campus in Dothan. Guess who he picked to come down here? A fellow that he knew was not bashful, that would get out and talk to people, and that was Dr. Lester Stewart. And that's how we got Troy here in Dothan. And that was the director here for a long time. Like I said, I've had the pleasure of calling this man my friend for a long, long time. He and I rode together every Monday and have for 20 years. And it's been a joy, a pleasure to call him a fellow Rotarian. So, Mr. President.
Come on up, Lester. Come on, I know you think. Oh, Mrs. Stewart, come on up too. I know you carried it most of the way, so. Yeah. Well, it's my honor to present this to Lester and Mrs. Stewart.
Thank you.
May it be known that Lester Stewart is hereby proclaimed an honorary member of Dothan Rotary Club and is thus accorded to the fellowship and privileges of such membership. Dated this day, 2025. Thank you, Lester. It's been an honor being a member and learning from you as a Rotarian and some other good stories. A lot of good stories, actually. But
Right.
thank you. Let's stand up.
Thank you very much. Thank you is hardly enough to say how much I appreciate the Rotary Club and being a Rotarian. Some of you have been close friends and brought me into the club many years ago. And I've seen Rotary from not only this standpoint, but I've been to England, I've watched the Rotary Club there. In Europe, I've been to the Rotary clubs there. It kind of gave me that inner feeling of service that we talk about. And Rotarians, service is our main objective. Service without self, and score above self. And of course, that's important. I hope you all realize that being a Rotarian is a responsibility that you owe to life itself and to those who make life worth. I've enjoyed being a member of this club. I've been in other clubs in Troy and other places. But this club has given me life and an exciting kind of life to live. Close friends that I've enjoyed working with. Being an educator, I feel like I've touched the lives of some of you, and you've touched my life in a very positive way, and I appreciate it. I'm so thankful God placed me in this position at this time in this place, and I have benefited from this, not only being a Rotarian, but being friends to all of you, and I thank you. Good. Yeah, thank you. I'm proud to be a Rotarian. I hope you can say that. Yeah.
Mr. Kirk, you're up. Mr. Kirk.
Yeah.
Intro to speaker.
Lester, I didn't know it, but I have to say thank you. I didn't realize that you were partly responsible for the career that I have. So I've been at Troy Dothan for the last 28 years. and I currently serve as the Chief Operating Officer. Thank you. Good afternoon. It was about a year ago, I received a call from Dr. Martin Searcy. During that call, Dr. Searcy stated that he thought it would be a good idea for the Troy Dothan campus to have a head office. It wouldn't cost me a dime because it's grant. I said, that sounds great. I mean, after the call, I went to my computer and Googled, what is AHEC? I truly did not know. Sounded great. How many of you know what AHEC is? Just a few, so you're just like I was, ignorant. It's an acronym for Area Healthcare Education Center, and their mission, at least in part, is to recruit, train, and retain the Alabama healthcare workforce. We know that's what we need. Now, a year later, thanks to Dr. McFadden right here, and Ms. Shelley Allen, which most of you probably know, we have the top performing AHEC center in the state of Alabama. Please welcome our director, site director, Dr. Jan McFadden.
Okay, Kirk, thank you very much for that introduction. Very good to be here. Everybody, we had the privilege of visiting this club a few weeks back, and Kirk invited us to, well, if you'd like to come tell your story, this would be a good opportunity to do that. So we're here. So we want to thank you all for taking the time to have us visit with you, talk a little bit about what we are and what we do. So as Kirk mentioned, why the AHEC concept is new to Dothan. It's actually been in the state since 2012. Basically, the program is grant funded through HRSA. It does have some state support as well. But traditionally, there were 5 centers organized throughout the state, and the Montgomery Center was originally designed to serve the Wiregrass region. That didn't really work out as well as we had wanted it to, so they restructured, and now Dothan has the Wiregrass AHEC Center here. We are housed at Troy University in the Everett building. The Troy folks have been fantastic to work with. I want to thank Dr. Davis, while he's here, and let him know that we really appreciate everything that they've done to accommodate and support us. So, in terms of what makes us so unique compared to other AHECs, is really our background. Ms. Oliver and I are both long-term healthcare professionals. We are not the average teacher or people who are normally in these roles, social worker, whatever. We actually have been in healthcare for many, many years, work with patients, with doctors, with all the health professionals, people that we are now serving and trying to recruit and train and actually keep in the Wiregrass region. And that's our focus, is to get healthcare professions, students employed and based here in the Wiregrass region, and to keep them here. I don't know if many of you are aware, but we have a crisis in the state, well, actually the entire country. Healthcare is in a lot of trouble when it comes to manpower. We just don't have enough manpower to see all of the patients around the country. We just don't have it. And that's especially critical in rural areas. And of course, Alabama is primarily, for the most part, a rural state. So we're really trying to do everything we can to support that imperative. My background a little bit, I'm a retired hospital health system CEO. I've been running hospitals for 4 years, retired back in 2023. Decided I wanted to come back home. I'm originally from Tuskegee, Alabama. So, I wanted to come back to Alabama, where I was born, bred, trained. Went to University of Alabama, undergrad, and then graduate school in UAB, both master's and doctoral programs. So, and all in the health professions. I currently serve on the UAB's health professions alumni board. Michelle's gonna tell you more about her background when she gets up, but she's a long-term healthcare professional as well, based here. Okay, let me check if this right. So as Kurt mentioned, AHEC, federally funded, through HRSA. There are more than 300 AHEC centers throughout the entire country. Alabama has 5 of those. We're gonna talk about that in a second, but basically, this was started through an act of Congress in 1972, where it was deemed that healthcare professionals needed to be more integrated into the rural areas of the country. So Congress formed this act along with the HRSA program to try to create health education centers as educational resources for health profession students so they can learn more, be trained, and hopefully integrated into rural areas. Our 5 centers located throughout the state, number one central office, we are actually based out of UAB at the Hersing School of Medicine. They actually wrote the grant to get the centers here back in 2012. Center number 2 is in Gadsden, called East Central. So, I guess number 3 is North, which is in Huntsville. Number 4 is us, the Wiregrass District, which is 15 counties in the southeast portion of the state. Number 5 is Mobile or Delta. And number 6 is the Black Belt District, which is basically out of Livingston or at the University of West Alabama. So 2 of the centers are university based. We are based in Troy. The Black Belt region is based at University of West Alabama. Again, just a kind of a closer snapshot of our region. As you see, we serve 15 counties. We have basically still haven't gotten to all the counties yet. We've only been established since September, but we're fast getting there. We basically, I think, touch base in most of the counties here in our, I guess our surrounding area. We partner with about 14 academic institutions throughout our region. As you see the logos there, and both at the 2-year college level and the 4-year college level. So we basically partner with any organization or any education institution that offers health professions programs. We basically want to partner with them, introduce our programs, work with them, hopefully try to recruit scholars, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and essentially get them integrated with us so we can actually work with these students throughout their careers. So this is kind of gives you a snapshot of the 14 education institutions. As you see, we've got Troy and all of its satellite branches, as well as 2 medical schools, both ACOM, which is the Alabama College of Ross-Patton University here in Dothan, and of course BCOM, which is based out of Auburn, or at least one of their branches. Then we also have Auburn University, Faulkner, Huntington, Meadowdale, the College of University of Wallace here locally. So we have several universities that we work with. There we go. Okay. We also partner with all the hospitals, or at least in our region. We right now have 13 hospitals that we currently work with through the region. All of them listed here. And that's an important relationship because basically, in order to basically recruit healthcare professions, you really have to understand who needs them. And every hospital in our region needed health professions, nursing, respiratory therapists, physical therapists, laboratory technicians, technologists, and so forth. So we try to we have met with just about every hospital CEO on this list. We still have maybe 2 or 3 more to get to, but we've met with just about all of them. And what they told us is, we need nursing, we need lab technology, we need physical therapists, and our role is to try to make sure that we can grow, retain, and develop these students and hopefully get them placed in these areas. So our primary goals, workforce development, which we basically want to make sure that we are working to try to grow our own people, for the workforce to be placed in these outlying areas. Continue education, so even after someone is placed, we still try to offer educational programming to our physicians, our therapists, the people that we have placed in these areas. We still want to make sure that they're still getting developed clinically and professionally. We try to bridge educational gaps. We try to diversify the workforce. Obviously, we want to make sure that we have a broad base of people working with us. And then economic development. When we bring workforce to the community, it develops that community. Okay, this is a pretty key slide. This will basically tell you exactly how we function. So at the bottom where it says get this is where we originally approached students. And these students are going to probably be in elementary, middle school, and into high school. We actually work with them at that level to create awareness of what the health professions are all about. We may offer camps, we may offer different types of awareness programs, mentoring, shadowing. We try to get students involved in healthcare facilities. That's why the partnerships with the hospitals and clinics are so important for us, because we want to get these students into those places to really, understand what the health professions are all about. Then we get to the next step, which is training. So we actually have programs where we can actually help train health profession students at the higher education level. Shelley's going to talk a little bit about the Scholars Program, which is a relationship that we have with several universities, where we actually take some of their students and provide additional training, and then try to help them get placed clinically into experiential training relationships with our network of providers. And then finally, keeping them. And this is the most important part at the top. We want to make sure people are employed in this region. We're not going to really satisfy the workforce or manpower issues that our hospitals have unless we can help get people placed there. And that normally involves helping them get internships, rotations, clinical placements, try to get these higher education graduates into places into the rural areas where they can train for a while. And our statistics show that once people have been trained in a certain environment, they have a likelihood of maybe staying there if it's a good environment. So we want to make sure that they're there and that they stay there. We have a board composed of several local community leaders and people throughout our region. These are just this is a list of our advisory board. Here, as you see, some of these people you may know or may recognize their names. They have all been totally committed to helping us be successful. We could not have done as well as we have this past several months without their support. Obviously, many of our scholars come from many of these universities represented here. Many of the support bases that we have from many of the hospitals that are listed here as well, people who represent those hospitals, they help us become successful in keeping students in this region. So again, recruit, train, and retain. That's really our model for developing Alabama's healthcare workforce, and particularly in the Wiregrass region. And we do it through a number of methods: scholars program, pathway programming. We also have grant programs that we're getting ready to add as well. We just recently got approved for 2 grants, one for a rheumatology educational workshop that we'll be having later this summer. That's going to involve inviting all of the rural healthcare professionals, particularly providers, around the table to really look at rheumatology. How can we get more rheumatology referrals from the rural networks into Dothan? We do have a Dothan rheumatologist who's going to be leading that effort. So we're very excited about that. We also have the Pathways to Smiles work, which is oral care. You know, right now we don't have enough dentists in these outlying areas. We need to make sure that we get students involved in these areas in terms of oral care, helping them understand how they can be impactful by serving dentistry in these rural areas. So our main focus as we go forward is to look at how can we help students at the high school level with pathways, camps, at the college level or higher education level by helping them be successful within their training. Many students want to do rotations down in the Wiregrass region. We can help by offering accommodation expenses, traveling expenses. We make sure that we try to help them find rotations if they can't find one. We commonly get requests from students who say, look, I want to have a rotation in pediatrics. I want to do it in the Troy area. I don't know anybody there. Can you help? And that's where we pick up the phone call and, our networks try to get them placed for a rotation. So we have a lot of that going on. And that's really the focus that we've developed here in trying to help health profession students grow in our region, get trained, additional training from us, and hopefully help us to accommodate them to be placed here as permanent employees. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Michelle Olive. She's going to talk about specific programming and things that we're doing.
Thank you, Dr. McFadden, and thank you, Dr. Davis. I know probably after, I don't know, done an ultrasound on you. My background is radiology technology. I was the first program at Wallace College in 1989. Graduated in Flowers Hospital. I approached both hospitals and said, which one of you needs somebody? Flowers Hospital jumped, and they sent me to school in Mobile for ultrasound school. We don't have to send people down to Mobile anymore, because we have a wonderful program over at LBW now. So most people in this area go to that program for ultrasound school. And I worked at Flowers Hospital for 15 years in ultrasound, and then worked for 17 years at digestive health specialist ultrasound. After a shoulder injury during COVID and unable to have surgery because it was elective, I was unable to do ultrasound anymore. So since then, I have dabbled in several different things. And here I am now with Wiregrass AHEC. Absolutely love it. So my main focus is the AHEC Scholars Program, along with helping with other things. But this is what I was hired for, and I absolutely love it. It's dealing with students. I've always enjoyed dealing with students. I'll go a little bit more into that in just a minute. But our AHEC Scholars Program, we get students from different disciplines. The grant tells us what disciplines those are from. Right now it is physicians, MDDO, physician assistant, nurse practitioners, optometry, dentistry, physician assistant, and pharmacy, and also clinical psychology, PhD. So those are the students that we go to in our 15 counties and recruit students from for our program. And the program is a 2-year commitment. Students have to do 40 hours of extra didactic work, self-paced, team-based learning, and 40 extra hours of what we call clinical or experiential or volunteer work in the community. They truly love that part, I think. So the didactic training focuses, we do 3 programs each year of their 2 years. This year we did informational education, social determinants of health, and right now they're working on behavioral health education. And then in the fall of October, they're starting practice transformation, cultural competency, emerging and current health issues. So by doing this, it gives them a little bit more education on those areas that they might not get within their programs. And so, and of course, all this is focused on rural healthcare. That's what we want. Like when these students, and I call them kids, drink the Kool-Aid and go to UAB or go to bigger facilities, Emory or University of Florida, sometimes when you drink that Kool-Aid, you want to stay. So we want to create more and more opportunities for them here in our area, rural areas, so that hopefully they'll fall in love with that area and stuff. The experiential portion, as I said, can be anything. It's just we want them to serve the underserved community, the rural community. They can do good things. They can do, of course, we want it to be medical based, but as long as they get out there and they do something, working with the Miracle League, working with hospice, homeless shelters, free clinics. There's so many of those in our 15 counties, and they get out there and they work with that. We also have they have the opportunity to present case studies that are researched at the state level and the local level. and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute. Attend conferences, webinars, we do all kinds of things with these students. So the first part that I had to do when I got here, I had 2 weeks to recruit students. And I thought, oh, well, that shouldn't be too hard. And then I started looking around the state and they only have like 5, 8, 10, and our goal was 15. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's harder than I think. But got out there, went to Auburn University first, went to ACOM, went to Faulkner, and before I know it, we had 36 students. So this area, these students are excited. They want to do it. And I'm aiming for 50 applications this coming year. So I'm just really excited that they love it, watching them grow, and I have absolutely watched them grow. Here's kind of a breakdown, and each of you have a paper at your table that has a little bit of a breakdown of the students we have. But we have 20 students currently from ACOM here in Dothan, through from Auburn University or Pharmacy, AUM, or my nurse practitioner students, Faulkner, PA students, Trenholm State University. So last year, some students were grandfathered in from the nursing program, and we're hoping that the person is going to add the nursing program back so that we can recruit those. But right now, I think they're focused on the more doctoral programs for this year and last year. And then, so some nursing from Trenholm, Troy, and Tuskegee. So this year they added something for their experiential hours that they wanted the students to do, and it's part of the interprofessional help where they work together and they learn how to work together. And we created something called community impact projects. The kids work themselves, the kids, some of them are 29, they keep telling me I'm not a kid. But the students, they got to work together and pick their own groups and their own projects they wanted to do. And a few of those, here's some pictures from ones that we're doing. We had one group do from ACOM called Stop the Bleed and Narcan distribution. And so they did that at Troy University, and then for the students at Troy, in Troy, and then the police officers here. And then this is a group in the middle that did STEM path, and they called it Flowers by STEM. And they went into one of the high schools and in Elmore County and was telling the kids about STEM path. So just some really neat things. They also, like I said, have an opportunity to share their research and or their community impact projects at the state and local level. And this was at the Alabama Rural Health Conference that was last week. And they actually made posters and created them from their community impact projects that they shared throughout 15 counties. And some of these actually were across the state of Alabama because we had students that were from ACOM working with students that were at North Alabama. So all 5 AHECs, they actually work together, and everything that we do, they're working together. So it's 525 students across the state working together. But here we had one from ACOM actually speak on Narcan distribution at the conference, and then there's some of the poster competition, or not competition, but poster presentation. Thank you guys. Oh, no, sorry. Okay. So there's one of the posters kind of up close. So this particular group took some, all the different foods that are donated to food pantries and made like a nutritional guide for them. They said they took the most common food items donated and made that for them and distributed that here in our area and some other areas. And then this was to Stop the Bleed, and we're actually, life-saving, situation. You might be there in a wreck, beside a wreck, and somebody on the side of the road that needs help that's bleeding. You might be on the beach and there'll be a shark attack. So everybody, and we're going to be doing these a lot more. If your business is interested in having that taught, let us know. This is something our students should be doing. But teaching these all over the state, how to save a life. Plate to Fit, Exercise and Medicine. Theirs is a completely virtual program online, telling people what, the different things that they can do to be healthy, how to eat, how to sleep. They also have an opportunity to be on the statewide leadership program. These are all CV building things, but they're all things that help them hopefully want to stay in rural areas, especially the state of Alabama. And then, as you said, pipeline to health careers. So this is super important to me because that's how I started. I was in an Explorers program at Dale County Hospital in Ozark when I was 14, 15, and 16, and I went through every single department in the hospital. That's how I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare. So I love the fact that we're going to be getting with these students, giving them opportunities to job shadow, giving them opportunities to be mentored by physicians and nurses and everybody in these programs. And then also helping them with developmental skills, how to do a Zoom interview, how to do an interview, how to talk to people, how to put that phone away. Those are those gonna be like all those different things we're gonna talk about. The old school stuff that we all learned in this room, but they have no idea. And then I'm gonna let Dr. McFadden come up and close us out.
Thanks, Shirley. As you can see, we've been really busy. We recruited, yes, over 30 scholars this last fall and winter, which is more than anybody else has on the other side. We have a lot of pent-up demand here for people wanting to be part of the program. We haven't even touched base with all the schools yet, so we have a lot more work to do. But we know that there is a demand there. Students want to get into the health professions, and the ones that do want that additional training, want the resources that we offer. So if you have students or no students who want to get into the health professions, let us know and we'll start working with them. These are just some of the programs that we've got coming up. Obviously, we had the Alabama Rural Health Association conference that Shelley mentioned last week. Very good conference for us and for our scholars. They got some great exposure. One of them actually led one of these sessions, in terms of speaking in front of all the audience there. And we had a lot of great exposure to a lot of the legislative issues. I saw, I guess our own Representative Paul Lee was there. Paul Lee did a great job of talking about the status of healthcare in the state, particularly at the provider level. We try to get our students educated on those things so they know the challenges that they face as well. Troy University has been very good at offering various fairs, health fairs, career fairs, wellness fairs. We have one coming up next week. The Wiregrass Healthcare Alliance Initiative meets once a month. Keith Granger heads that session at the chamber, and we actually are part of that group as well. The Nurse for a Day Camp show is going to be leading. It's going to actually have people who are interested in nursing come out to Troy University Dothan campus one day during the summer. We'll get you more information about that, but they get to actually understand what it's like to be a nurse. The rheumatology conference that we just talked about, as well as the dental association of pathways to smile and regional oral care workshops. These are things that we're going to be working with over the next month. So, and then there'll be more programs. We've actually got a couple more in place that we want to try to acquire as well to offer additional programming and to offer hopefully additional money to be able to fund preceptors, internships, and rotations. Those are the things that we really need to capitalize on as much as possible to make sure we get students into these career fields and actually practicing and training in local area organizations and in the rural parts of the Wiregrass region. With that, I guess we'll entertain any questions. Yes, sir.
Several years ago, there was some discussion about maybe y'all or the movement with pre-hospital providing stuff, such as our paramedics, which we got a national shortage with. I know a lot of the community colleges have really been supporting that too, but has there been any discussion about trying to tie together more of the healthcare provider groups out there other than, just the masters and doctorate and all those type of degrees to support where our needs are?
Okay, we make that pitch, but right now HRSA seems to be focused on getting people that are providers that can actually provide and bill for healthcare services. So that's why the pharmacists, the clinical psychologists, the dentists, the medical students, those are the ones that we work with currently. But we have asked about additional professions, including social work.
All kinds of different, we are hoping to be more interprofessional education where, like life flight and ambulance and all that, paramedics are part of that as well. one of the things we're working on, Wiregrass Alliance, that we'll be meeting on Wednesday. My group is actually working on pathways. And one of those we do have down for advanced, or EMT, advanced EMT, paramedic, supply medic, supply, like all that different things coming down from nursing. So that is on what we'll be working with on the hospital. And anything that we can, you want to, meet with us and talk about something else, we are definitely willing to do whatever.
Paramedics is definitely a shortage here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, we do teach, stop and bleed, CPR, AED, the school system, everything else. We'd be glad to take any volunteers who want to help do.
Well, I've got 4 volunteers ready to go meet, and before you know it, we're gonna all be stop and bleed certified.
Good.
Anybody else?
How does pay scale compare to other professional jobs along that line?
Thanks, Bill, brother. That's one now.
Well, in terms of the scholars program, they get a stipend. We actually pay them, I think, $500 after the first year and $1,000 after the second. But they're not really paid as professionals until they actually get a job and, paid accordingly. The pay scales in this area, I will be honest with you, are probably need to be, I guess enhanced to some degree. Alabama is, obviously trying to deal with that as a state. We want to be able to have scales to, right now, one example is, I just re-interviewed the CEO down in Geneva. And she commented, said a common occurrence is that she may offer a certain scale for a lab technologist, whatever, but obviously Florida offers more, and they go to Florida, it's just over the state line, it's not far, and so she loses it. We gotta deal with that.
But yes, as for the program, they get the $500 after the first year when they complete the 40, and then they get 1,000 the second year, and then we do help with, if they go to a rural area to do a consultation, we do offer mileage and housing reimbursement as well.
Just 2 reminders. What ends on next Monday, we extended it. Soup drive. Can I hear it? Everybody sing with me? Soup drive. That's right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this, acknowledgement. I've seen, the Rotary Club, grow not only in this area, but I've been to Rotary International meetings in Europe, in England, and in South America. And I hope someday some of you may have already been there, but if you haven't been to one of our international meetings, I would encourage you to go to one of those. I don't know what the schedule is for the international meetings this year, but y'all can probably get a notice of where we're meeting next. But if you have an opportunity, take advantage of it, because you're going to see the work of Rotary, not only just here in Dothan, but you're going to see it worldwide, and the service that Rotary gives to the population, wherever they are, is immeasurable. You just can't imagine the outreach you have as members of a Rotary. I hope you'll take advantage of that. It's a pleasure to be back with you again.
Thank you, Douglas. Board meeting, and May the 14th will be the next one. I'm just giving that to the new board members that are going. And I'll send emails out in the next few weeks from the May, but we'll have the incoming board members, I guess the next 2 board meetings when we actually flip over in July. If we can all stand. The things we think, say, and do is the truth. Is the all God bless you. Have a great day.